Madam Speaker, to the bill.
To the bill.
Madam Speaker, ever since Al Gore got off his knees, dusted off his shins after inventing the internet, he connected the last series of tubes together and it came to life. No, wait, that's not what happened. He did not invent the internet, actually, it turns out. But there was a gentleman named Tim Wu who in 2003 from Columbia University coined the term net neutrality. And net neutrality is a principle, as Senator Wyden, my old boss, describes it, that if you pay for it, you get to access it when you want and at the speed you paid for. So when IT shut down our certain websites that some of us like to visit to check out our gaming habits, I realized that's unfair, they're censoring us. Then I realized, wait a minute, I'm not paying for it. So net neutrality is if you've bought the service, not if mom and dad censor you on the internet, but if you've bought the service and you're paying money, you should not be discriminated against where you go. The real world implications, for those of you who don't know, I'm an IT guy. I have been since I started my company in the year 2000, but even before that I was a computer guy for Weyerhaeuser and other companies. Napster was an original peer-to-peer sharing network. It was mostly transiting and illegal music being downloaded to each other, but it's the precursor to Amazon Music and iTunes. It showed the market that there was a way to legally make money having music come through the internet. Many people use Napster. That certainly would have been illegal under copyright law, but in a net neutrality context, it was an economic development moment that now iTunes and Amazon Music and I would say even Netflix and others have all tagged onto. But that could have been shut down if ISPs had been able to limit bandwidth. Another example that just since the FCC has moved, this takes a little more thought. AT&T just made a deal where if you're a customer, which I am, you can use your DirecTV streaming service to your phone, not have it count against your data. That's an example of what might come if we don't have net neutrality principles, which is you can be rewarded if you stick with one of their preferred partners. If you don't stick with one of your preferred partners and use Netflix, it uses your data. If you don't, it doesn't use your data. Because they're still giving you full bandwidth on the Netflix side, I would say it's not a full-blown discrimination to incent you to use DirecTV. But that's the road we may go down if we're not careful. And I look at it primarily from an economic development tool. I own a business that uses broadband to access my clients from wherever I'm at in the world. If I need to fix a computer or I need to get onto my mom's computer and fix her problems, I do that from Bangkok or wherever on my phone using TeamViewer, using VNC, using a variety of different tools, RDP. All those things are allowed and capable under my broadband agreements. Nobody tells me I can't. But if the Geek Squad over at Best Buy wanted to shut people like me down, they would try and form into partnerships that says we can't access our clients' computers, and instead you should have to call one of their little VW things to drive over there and fix it. So for me, it's all about economic development. In committee, there was the CEO of Puppet. Puppet is one of the most successful tech companies in Oregon that was homegrown, started here, over 500 people in good-paying jobs, and he came to committee and said, I think it is critical to how the internet has worked historically, how the internet works today, and I think it is critical to how the internet works in the future. And he was worried about things like Netflix not being possible if we don't have net neutrality. So finally, that comes to what can Oregon do about net neutrality? As a market actor, we can use our purchasing power to send signals. In the 2011 session, my colleague from Medford and I brought a bill called House Bill 3000, the Buy Oregon Act. It passed unanimously across the House floor. It says that the state can use its preferential purchasing to reward local Oregon-based companies in procurement. That was wading into the territory of we could use our money to support our values. It passed unanimously in the House, was signed into law. I would argue that it is a good use of our resources to occasionally condition when we want something, and in this case what we want is fair, free, open internet if you pay for it. If you don't pay for it, you cannot argue that you should have been able to go play World of Warcraft in your lunch hour, Dan. But everybody else should be able to get free and open internet if you pay for it. Thank you, Madam Speaker.